Hey, boys.
Oh, hey, guys.
How's
How's it
everybody?
going?
There you
Welcome
are.
to
Here
the
I am.
Heikadelic Show. Here we go again.
Here I go
Cheers.
again on my own with these three.
Cheers.
Yeah,
See what kind of shit we can cause tonight.
yeah. Let's do it. Hang on.
So, hi, fans. We'll see who's on first. But for all else to do here, Mr. Johnny Ringo.
Hey, George is thirsty tonight.
Nice
Yeah,
one,
hang
George.
on.
You're the winner.
Cheers, everybody. We didn't waste time there at all. That's awesome.
Nope.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, George is just like, hey, I don't care what you guys are saying.
We're drinking.
We're having
Nice one,
bananas.
George. So, how's Mr. Ringo feeling? I heard you had a little bit of a spill.
Yeah, I got in a fight with the ice, and the ice won.
Oh,
Yeah. So
It's that stupid gravity, isn't it?
yeah, gravity works.
I've fallen a lot of times, and I usually just take the impact. Like if I fall backwards, I'll just fall on my back, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
This time I put my arm out to brace it, and my wrist and my hand is fine, but I ended up popping my shoulder, and it cracked, so it's a complete fracture. So it's, every time I move, they put a cast below the shoulder, and they want to hang the bone so it fuses together, but very painful because every time I move, it feels like if you were to lock your wrist or something, or your shoulder, and it goes into that lock position, but it's a grinding pain. And
man,
nothing like I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
But,
no, it's not cool. I remember I did my spill, so I know what busted up shoulders feel like, and it's not nice.
It looks like Gary's the first one on deck.
Holy crap! What happened to the ladies today? It's usually one of the ladies.
Oh, Keisha's number 2.
All right.
Keisha.
Yeah.
Well,
Love it.
A little late. I think we're pretty early on tonight. So
Well, we were right on the ball tonight. It's not that we were early. I think today's just a different day. Today, I think everybody's a little off today.
I'm a little off today, actually. Funny you should mention that. I'm
Really?
dragging me ass. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
No, it's weird. It's just everybody.
I think I'm ready for some warmer weather. I've had enough of this cold stuff. I think,
really?
I need some plus temperatures,
I agree.
Off.
Warm weather. I can't. Honestly, now being a northern guy, ice has never been a problem. But I'm just doing the penguin walk outside now. I definitely like just in a split second. Now my next couple of months are
kibosh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit worried because like Derek's got a lot of war wounds, haven't you? Broken this and that. I got his fall last year, broke his shoulder and ribs, and Ringo's fallen and broken his shoulder. And I'm like, well, should I quit the show while I'm ahead?
Yeah.
That's right.
Better take it easy, bud.
It's just a bit worrying, you know what I mean?
So Gary's here for a good time, but not a long time. He's got a book. So hey, Gary, thanks for that.
Yeah, Gary.
And,
Gary does well on the backsides, doesn't he? I mean,
yeah. He's kind of the reigning champion.
Yeah, he took over from who was it? Sandra that was doing really good. Who took over from
Yep.
Derek?
Sandra's right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sandra, hello Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. Yeah, because Derek used to be the backside king. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Sandra.
He got so good at it, we put him on the air.
Yeah.
So in our fans, I don't know, you notice we have different background colors today.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit of support for the Ukraine.
Yeah, absolutely. Throwing some support out there, and it's amazing that their president, one of the first ones to get out there and defend, right? That's pretty amazing. I mean, so no doubt, however this plays out, he's a hero already.
Yeah, we call that a man.
Absolutely.
Not a little boy like what we have.
Yeah. And I'll be completely honest. If I know a lot of people now in Canada, it was asked today, the Prime Minister, if people wanted to participate in actually going to the front line to defend there wasn't a no, but I felt so strongly about it, like probably many do. I've got a lot of Ukraine friends. I've got a lot of Russian friends. I don't believe Russia, as a whole, is behind this at all. In fact, they're protesting now but this is just insanity. It's someone that's this whole action, or several actions now, is frankly,
as we were saying before, it's a superpower thing, right? It's
not
just Russia. It's the States. They do the exact same thing. They just walk into a country and guess what? This is ours now.
They walked into a country that was, peaceful and worked to, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just
it doesn't make sense at all.
Lunacy, and I hope that at least somebody steps in soon if it can't resolve. I kind of feel they had talks, and that'll happen maybe one more time, maybe a third time, and then the 3 strikes are done. And I'm pretty sure their forces will step in and intervene, because this cannot go well.
No,
there's a lunatic at the helm, right? So,
then you look at Russia. Doesn't Russia have enough fucking space? They need more. Like, really?
Well, it's not even that. It's this whole concept of just becoming the czar and putting Russia back together as a whole. I mean, it's just, there's no foundation for it in it. But I just have to say, where there's that lunatic, you've got the president of Ukraine, who's an absolute hero, and that it's going to teach us a lesson. It's going to teach us that true leadership gets in front of. It's not expected for.
It's going to teach you not to turn your guns in when they say, "Hey guys, you got to turn your guns in."
Right, and he said, I don't need a ride anywhere. Like, obviously, people were opening up their homes and stuff like that, and but he said, I don't need a ride anywhere. I need, I need weapons. I need support. So, that's pretty amazing. So,
because it's a little dinky country that doesn't have a lot, and you got Russia going over there.
It's not that small. It's 44 million people, right?
Yeah, but still, compared to Russia, it's tiny. It's like nothing, right?
Well, it is, and there's no, like, the argument. There is no argument. It's just it's flat out murder. It really is, and it's not. I mean, you look at those clips where Putin has, and even have the audacity to call him Mr. Putin. I just call him a demon. Sit there in front of his cabinet, and they're cowering, right?
Yeah,
they don't buy this shit. And a lot of Russians have relatives in the Ukraine and everything. And anyway, we don't get into political things, but in this case here, it's one of those things that it's just absolutely, I honestly thought Hitler was gone, but here we go again, right? So it's got to stop. So I guess what I was trying to say was, had I not flipped on the ice, I'd be on a plane. I'd be going to support it. It's one of those things that if leaders, that's not a leader. That's in fact, that's a coward, and it's someone who's the agenda's driven by ego, and it's not right. That those people need to be really taken out of office sooner than later. So, and he's been, my thinking now is like, I'm glad somebody else is in the U.S. because, I mean, wasn't Trump his buddy? I mean, it's that would have been interesting. So
it would have been.
I'm glad Canada stepped up today, though, and offered a lot of support.
Did Putin wait just for Trump to get out of office and for Biden? Is this more?
I don't know
what I mean. Is this more they things that we don't know?
Well, it's interesting that you talk about the they, because from what obviously the people we think are in control aren't necessarily in control, right? But what motivates something like this? It just defies all logic, right? So, and that's my opinion. Obviously, I mean, it's not necessarily the show's opinion, but I mean, I think we can all agree that this is the big guy. It's bullying. It's relentless, and it's caused a lot of people to die that were living in peace.
Is he not a billionaire, self-made through the mafia?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm asking. This is what I heard. Is this true? Is this facts? Do you know?
He's a former KGB guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless, I mean, he's a thug, and he's killing people for no reason, and that needs to be stopped. So, anyway, we're probably getting.
We're probably getting a little too political. So, anyways, guys, let me tell you something.
The fans are going, "What's going on with these guys?"
Yeah. All they ever talk about is politics.
We need to talk about a backside, I think.
Yeah.
Backside.
I think a backside would be good right now.
Oh, Gary's got to go. All right, but it's only small backside this evening, chaps.
It's
small backside. To lose weight.
45.
Oh, it's a 45.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, let's zoom that up there, George.
Okay, so it's a 3. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
A small backside. Backside shrunk.
It's a 3-piece band.
That looks like a gate, and there's a soldier on top with a gun.
No, it's not. It's a
band.
It's a band. Oh, it's a band.
It's hard to see if it's 3 or 4-piece band.
Gotcha. Wow, I saw a tower with soldiers.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Because for a band, it's like just the very top.
Playing on the castle wall.
Kathy's saying U2.
Kathy thinks it's U2. Oh,
I would guess something like that too.
Kathy always thinks it's U2.
I know. I love the buzzer though.
Nice one, Kathy.
U2. Desire. All right.
Right on.
So that's out of the way. What are we going to do for the next hour? And
that didn't last
George, you owe me a buzzer.
What's that?
You
I know I owe you a buzzer, don't I?
Yeah.
I do. I do. Do you want a buzzer? Do you want to get buzzed?
I'm always
So I guess, like we don't have a guest tonight, but we have a lot of cool things to talk about. And so in terms of guests, we'll talk about that a little more because we have I think a pretty much jam-packed calendar for the next 2 months, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we're going to be backloading that as well. So and some of these are return guests that are pretty amazing. And what's equally amazing is the fact that they actually wanted to come back for more punishment. So
I know, eh?
Yeah.
But, when guests say, "Hey, I'll come back," we go, "Yeah, whatever." But then when they call us, we're like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, and then also maybe we always talk. I think way back, Heiko and I, when we were on reality radio,
yes,
and Terry was on, we would pull out indie bands and we'd spin them. So we talked about it, and George is we're not really monopolizing his talent as a DJ, so we want to try and obviously if he's playing copywritten stuff, we get shut down. So we're going to go after put a kind of a call out to indie bands, and we've already started some of that, and George has already received a few.
Yeah, we like to promote local talent.
Yeah. Well, we got one today from Chile, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to get some, consent forms so that if we run into any social media flack, we can shut that down.
So what you're saying is that we're looking for indie bands to send us in MP3s?
Yes, to the correct address.
Yeah, I think we'll stick with MP3s for now. But what's cool about it is we have a lot of opportunities. Obviously, we like that content back in our show as far as being able to play 2 to 3 tracks a show, maybe 2 to 3 different bands, and then feature some of those bands along the way and get them on the show, and then do what we can. It'll be fun outside of the show to really help them promote and do our part to work through that. So like an example would be Johnny No Cash and Anti Queens, great musicians. Johnny's on the road. Johnny, Mr. No Cash himself, Chuck, is actually going to be back on the show. George, what date do we have?
It's 4th of April.
4th of April, okay.
That's a Monday.
As many of you know, he's
Monday,
out on the
is
road.
it?
Yeah, it's coincidence.
9:30.
Yeah, it's coincidence, eh?
So he'll be talking a little bit about his van life, but he's also got a couple of singles, I believe, that were released, and I listened to one of them, and you know, it's pretty amazing. It's kind of you know, I don't know if it's about his father or what exactly, but it you know, Chuck's a great songwriter, and so it's a pretty catchy tune. And who else? Rudy Blair has committed to coming back as well. Great guest. I mean, that's our touch point to really big celebrities, because he works with them all the time and interviews and all that stuff. He also has an entertainment group, so anxious to get
Rudy Blair Entertainment Media.
Absolutely, yeah. And what a great guest, though.
Yeah, you can catch out all his interviews there, right?
Yep.
So that's awesome. That's great. We got returning guests. And for you indie bands, if you're hearing this and you want to send in an MP3, George, what's the email address?
The correct email address is heikadelic930@gmail.com.
There you go.
Not Heiko, not Heiko. Heikadelic.
Just like the show.
Like it says up in the corner there. Yeah.
Just like the show. Heikadelic. 930.
Not Heiko 930, as I put on the promo earlier today.
So
not like how I did it originally.
I think it's your. I blame you, Derek. I was reading your text. I'm going like that's what.
So is it Heikadelic930@gmail?
At Gmail,
Heikadelic 930, 930@gmail.com.
So I'm just going to put that up on the screen.
So do that, guys. All you guys that have indie bands out there that want to promote yourself, want us to maybe spin your tunes, and maybe even down the road have an interview with us live on the air. Send in your music.
Hey, Hike, you got ours. You got ours already.
Oh yeah, pretty good, eh?
Got it on a stick there.
Yep.
Mine's.
And it's funny. I was almost Sunday night. I was going to call you and I was going to bring that down to you.
Well, you see, that probably wouldn't have worked so well because Sunday night was last night. I didn't get home until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But we were invited to do a performance at the Canadian Independent Music Video Awards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we went to a warehouse in Etobicoke and did a little recording there.
What was the address?
Excellent.
Huh? What was the address?
Yeah, the place.
Munster Avenue.
Munster Avenue. That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
But that's great. I mean, a lot of a lot of shows bring indie bands on, for content and whatnot. But I think somebody like Derek, and anybody who's been in the business for a while, really experienced musicians, and the better half of bands will promote other bands.
Yes,
and
that's the thing. A lot of bands need that boost, right? So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not that it's an unwritten obligation, but again, there's some cross promotion there, but legitimately, I think a lot of bands, it's not like it used to be in the hair band days where bands.
It's not a competition.
It's
People
not.
People are realizing now to build something, you have to work together.
Yeah.
Right? The more people you can get in your circle, the bigger your circle is going to be. It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had someone.
Yeah.
I had someone tell me a long time ago that our band was looking to do a video and this and that. So anyway, I was talking to this production person, and basically, Terry and I were out. We'd always kind of scope a lot of indie bands and try and give them some sort of support. But I was told the real story is really not about Motor City or Tears of a Deity. It's really the fact that we're experienced musicians going out and really selflessly promoting other groups, right? And I think that's what it's all about. I mean, at the end of the day, I label ourselves as with MCM as support band that can sell tickets for bigger acts. But beyond that, our tour bus left a long time ago, right? So if you can pass that on and just earn some respect, I think, from others in the business, then that's great. And there are a lot of people, I could probably name a few, that I just think are arrogant fucks out there. And but you know, to me, it's like, yeah, you haven't earned that. You might look pretty, but there's really nothing under the hood. Well, that's term, lipstick on a pig or something. I don't know, but
I find usually there's a level of mentality that you get when you get to a certain level, when you start playing bars and stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's some guys who like play bars, and there's other guys that play a bar 2 or 3 times a year.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. If you're playing a bar 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes you have a little bit bigger of an ego than you should, and you take a little bit more time and you do that. Where
you have to bullshit to fill in the times that you weren't playing, right?
Right. And you're trying to live the dream, but you're not living the dream. You're just pissing everyone off around you.
Right.
Like the guy who goes, "Hey, we have 10 minutes in between sets to do a changeover," right? I can do that. You've seen our sets. We've got pretty elaborate setups. So you try and do it as quick as you can, right?
You might have seen Matt struggle with one of those, in fact.
That was pre-show.
Full on fist fight with his mic stand.
Yeah. But you get the guy who like, "Hey man, I'm playing my drum set." Okay, cool. And he brings a 28-piece fucking drum set with 92 cymbals, and he could have done it with a 4-piece kit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, he needs to bring that up, especially if you're playing like with a bigger band and you got to share a stage because the big band has their stuff already up there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, dude, bring a small kit, something nice and easy. You're not there to outdo the big band. If you do,
and you won't.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Derek. I actually right now happening to, I think it started today at JRS Auctions, which is online. Joel Robichard, he has an auction house. So I brought my Marshall cabs down to him, and as well as some PA systems and stuff. But yeah, it less is more. I mean, if you can do an acoustic act as a, I know with MCM, we started doing that, right? Just so that we could play almost unplugged in a smaller pub. The songs are pretty heavy, but they sounded awesome when I thought they sounded great when we did an acoustic version, right? And and when you can sound good doing that, and you kind of peel all the amps and everything back, I think you really got something. So when we solicit, it's not going to be a free for all. Please send in your stuff. If you're an indie band out there or an individual artist, we would be happy to have a listen. But try and make sure it's a pretty clean demo. It doesn't have to be done in a studio, but we need it, kind of noise free, I suppose. And
you want a decent quality, so when we play it, when people hear it, it's not going to sound like crap, right? You want it to sound pretty decent.
Speaking of that, that's almost a pet peeve of mine too. When you get people who videotape, like your buddy videotapes you when you're playing, and it sounds like crap on your phone, right?
It's
like, oh, look at my buddy's band. I'm like, man, that sounds like tin cans. I can't even hear that crap, man.
Sounds like the neighbor's kids playing buckets out the sandbox.
Yeah. So don't put up crappy video of your friends' bands.
No, at this point we don't want videos. Just MP3s are fine, and obviously do the consent form. We're probably going to go through a little review of them because obviously, we're looking for indie bands, not just about, hey, I'm an indie band. All of a sudden, there's we're looking for some talent, obviously some. Creative lyric writing, some hooks, things like that. And
it doesn't matter what type of music it is.
No, the genre doesn't matter.
Just whatever it is, we're going to listen to it.
Yeah, we'll have a listen to it, and then
Yeah.
we'll see if it's a fit. And then if you hear it on the show, that's awesome. And then we'll probably, have a few of them that we run in a rotation, and then eventually we'd like to do something and get, maybe push some of their, the band socials and stuff like that. And we also COVID kind of put us in a little setback last year, but during the summer we were going to go to I think it was Danny or somebody. They had a car rally outside his burger place, and we were going to get something together towards the end of the year. But events like that, we might ask your band to join us with a few other bands, right, and make it.
And that's going to happen this year, by the way, boys.
Yep.
They're doing all renovations down there at Country Stop Burgers right now. They should be opening up, hopefully, in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And he's getting ready for the summer, so.
And they've done some renovations there too, right?
They're totally stripped the whole place out completely and redoing it. Yeah. So
good to hear.
Send in your tunes, man.
Yep. Yeah. Danny's usually on every week. I've noticed them a few times. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what? The masks are coming off soon, and hopefully we'll get back
tomorrow
to some kind of normalcy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I had a guy yesterday or Saturday. Was it? No, it was yesterday, Sunday. I took my son to soccer, and hey, can I see your card? I'm like, really? You want to see my card and my license? Okay, so my license is from like 5 years ago. I change my hair fairly often, although for the last 2 years I've been growing it. So I got my mask on. He's like, can I see your ID? I'm like, sure, really? Not that it matters, right? Like, does it look like me? And he's like, yeah, it looks enough like you. I'm like, okay, thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Got a mask on. All you can see is my eyes. I'm wearing a hat.
I know, but you see, you got to understand, those are the kind of people that don't have any self-esteem or whatever. They got this job and they make it a big fucking deal, like they're a cop that's pulled somebody over. I gotta see your ID. I gotta see. It's like,
respect my authority.
Yeah, whatever. Grow up.
It's a control thing, right?
Absolutely. They think they're special.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I would get.
You can't go in if I don't say so.
Yeah.
Well, not going to name names, but
no.
But okay. I've been at a venue or two. One in particular that the security team generally was fine, but they had one or two wingnuts that one in particular that just would look for any reason to kick somebody out, and this guy was like just a big overbearing jerk, and so
it makes them feel tough, right? Because they got little dicks, and the women boss them around all day, so they got to go in the bar and be tough and try and kick somebody out.
Be careful. Next week isn't our guest the doorman?
Oh, is it? Yeah. All right, I'd love to talk to him.
Oh, we love the doorman.
I guess that's Jason, right?
Tony,
yeah. No, that's awesome.
Tony.
Antonio.
Oh, Tony.
Antonio, yeah.
Right.
Antonio. It's yeah. Anyway, I don't want to say it screwed up. So it's Tony.
Yeah, it's Tony. Hey, it's
Tony from the Rock Pile.
Yeah.
Right on. I'll have to ask him about some stuff too, because we've got some interesting doorman stories as well. So,
yeah.
I'm going to ask him. So, what would you do if this happened?
Yeah.
I'd sit back down and let the bouncer take care of that.
Well, that's what I used to do back in the day. I used to be a bouncer. So.
Oh, did you?
Some pretty cool stories.
So Richard's on. Hey, Richard.
Hi, Richard.
Hey, Richard.
From Montreal.
So look at that. He calls it the Heikadelic Nation. I like that. That's pretty cool, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah. Taking over Ford Nation because we're the Heiko Nation.
That's right.
I think he's ripping it from Howard Stern, the Howard Stern Nation.
No.
But so at the bottom of the screen, I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to Tarantula cassettes.
Yes.
So that's where you find them. So Tarantula Tapes. And we're going to talk to them as well, just kind of being open with everybody about, some of these bands that we get in. They actually work to promote, and you can get your stuff on tape, which is a retro, like a vintage comeback. And it's pretty incredible.
It's really coming back strong too.
Yeah. So we'd like to get them involved as well as some others on working with some indie bands. So that would be cool. But we have
the Tarantula cassettes. They got some great artists to do artwork for you. They promote too. That it's a great way to go for indie
good
bands.
People. It's like they're playing at their local scene. They are right in the local scene.
Right. And it's perfect for indie support, right? So
it is.
Yeah.
But George, actually, if you can make a note, we should get them on as sooner the better. I mean, even if we have a guest on, we can get them on for to refresh everyone on that.
Yeah, I can do that. And the thing about Tarantula Tapes is, like with Matt that was on Fang by Night, his Get Stitched cassette he brought out at the end of January. It does come with a digital download, so don't worry. I mean, you don't have to have a cassette if
Yeah, it comes with a code.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing with having the cassette too. Some people just like something physical, right? They're not going to listen to it. They're going to put it up on their shelf and look. I got the whole Tarantula, disc or tapography. Right?
Well, it'll take you back to the 80s, right? I always have to, I used to have them as a kid. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing, right? It's like me with vinyl. I have some vinyl I've never played or even opened. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, yeah. So,
I still remember it in the car, man. I had this killer Kenwood car stereo.
And you needed a pencil with you in the car as well.
And then I had the tray with all the cassettes in it. And when you put the cassette in the deck, it sucked it in. All that crazy stuff we had back then. It was awesome.
And if the weather was particularly cold, it plays slow. I don't know. I had a cheap cassette.
You only have that problem when you have a shitty tape deck.
No, in the cold weather. And then when you put the heat on, and later on in the trip, I know
that's a shitty tape deck. Any quality tape deck would never do that.
You know how far a disc jockey ways used to go back in those days. Come on.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Well, I mean, back in those days, though, you could be in a band and actually earn a living, right?
Yeah.
I remember doing.
It's funny. We were so into music back then. I used to hang out with a bunch of guys. They're in some guys were in a band. I don't know if you've ever heard of Blind Vengeance. Way back.
No,
don't think so.
Terry Code knows them.
Okay.
And so I was always with people that like to play guitars and all that stuff. I played bass back then. So what I had actually done is I had 400-watt amplifiers in the trunk. I had a wicked sound system. But I also had 2 jacks in the back seat in the console. So guys could bring their guitars and plug their guitars in. They could play through the other 100-watt amp. And they played guitar in the car while we're playing tunes, man. It was so good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Traveling Go.
So Richard says he doesn't watch Stern, but he watches Heikadelic whenever he can.
He's got good taste.
Well, that's understandable.
That's what we like about Richard.
Right, Richard.
We may not be the king of all media, but we do have the voice of an angel.
That's right.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So, Richard, tell me if you know where this comes from. I'm going to say something. I say, Richard, that's what we appreciate about you.
Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from?
I have no idea.
I know. Where it comes from. Letterkenny.
There you go. It's a hard no.
Right.
Letterkenny. You got it, man.
Love those guys. Well, we should see if we can get on an episode with them. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Or get one of them on the show, right?
Yeah, I've sent the info out to them already. See if we can get them on. I love those guys.
Yeah, they're awesome, and I mean that's my hometown. I don't get the Skids though. I really don't. I don't know what they're.
Nah, they're kind of there so that the town has a little bit of everything. Yeah. They got the gay minister, they got the Skids,
The Skids, okay. So a Skid when I was growing up, well, I would have been considered a Skid. the leather jacket, the jeans, the long hair, smoking
No.
weed.
No, those weren't skids.
No,
Okay,
those were called heads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe
Yeah.
it evolved, like maybe this is modern day Letterkenny out in, old Sudbury and north of, so who knows? But they're pretty spot on though, with a lot of the lingo and in that home, that farm that they're on. I know exactly where it is. I used to rehearse down the road in a chicken farmhouse. So
Wow.
yeah, good times.
So do you know a lot of the actors and actresses on that show?
Yeah.
Do you remember there's the I think they're like Mennonites or Amish or something?
Yep.
There's that family, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
And they always talk kind of weird, and it comes out like sexual innuendos and stuff like that when they're talking about the kids and everything.
It's almost like a mixed Yiddish kind of thing.
Yeah. That woman, have you ever looked the actress up?
No.
Well, she always wears the bonnet and the dress,
Yep.
and she looks, so primitive. She is hot, man. Holy crap. You can look her up.
Yeah.
I got better things to do.
Ringo, did you see that Musk hooked up the Ukraine with a satellite and Starlink? Yeah, I did catch that, and I saw some anti-supporters that I guess ticked off because they haven't got their dish yet, but really kind of being negative about it. And you know what? Kudos to Elon for setting up that so that if people are kind of running around disparate, they can still get connections and be in contact with.
I signed up with Starlink almost a year ago. I still haven't got anything, but I get it. I live out in the middle of nowhere, and they'll get here when they get here, right?
And I think just last week they set up yet another satellite to put more in orbit, so it's getting better. The speeds can be really incredible, but then you could have these. The biggest issue, honestly, I have with it right now is that Facebook. If you're going directly on a browser, through a Starlink connection, Facebook runs like a dog. So what I do is I run it through a separate router, and it runs faster. And that, people suspect that that's a bit of a friction between.
Maybe those two guys don't get along very well.
Yeah.
Oh. Have you guys, anybody out there, have you gone to www.liar.com?
Wow, let me go there right now.
And tell me what you see when you go there.
Oh boy.
I heard that Elon Musk did this.
Did he?
Yeah.
I watch all of the
liar.com
interviews and
liar.com.
Yeah.
Cyber Finder.
Just type it in. www.liar.com. No, that's not it. That's cyberfighter.com.
That's a porn site, Derek.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing?
www. dot liar.
LIAR.
Oh my God. No, don't even do it.
That's not liar.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
wait a second.
It's a fake.
Come on, fans, go there.
Yeah. Okay, I've gone there.
Yeah. Who's there? You got a
what
picture.
The fuck?
You got a picture of Pretty Boy there. Yeah, look at that.
But you know what?
Isn't that awesome?
Wikipedia. That's his Wikipedia page.
I know, and I heard that Eon had something to do with that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is that today was a good day for Canada because they stepped up. Trudeau might have been the spokesman for the support, but if you listen to the interview, he really didn't mince words. I thought it was pretty clear, but there was actually an undertone that, if things get rough, we're not backing down. So I mean,
we're gonna send our Girl Scouts out there with their cookies, throwing them at the people.
Yeah, But
Wait,
anyway,
okay,
hopefully
what I missed something here. What are you saying? Captain Socks had a meeting today? I missed it. I didn't hear it.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Canada
Captain Socks is going to go out there and help. You know,
No, I don't think there's that happening. But
he's gonna send some bouncy castles or something. But
yeah,
it's honestly I felt the, and you really have to watch it to get it, because there's been so much controversy with Justin lately that it
controversy.
But
he's shown the entire planet that he's not worthy of being a leader.
Right, but today, I think the words, whether you buy it or not, the supply chain to Ukraine is real.
Yeah.
And some of the messaging that was said was, we're part of NATO and everything else, and we're very aligned. But there was some undertones there that I was very surprised he stood up and said, right? But obviously he was on a call early morning with, I guess, the summit, and they've aligned with that messaging. So Biden, though, hasn't really said much lately at all, right?
He never says anything. No. I feel bad for the Americans, say what you want to say. They had a leader, and now they got a puppet that does nothing.
No, you know what?
It's sad. It's sad.
I think that, it was kind of reserved. Hey, we're not getting involved at first, but I would not be surprised if, he's like, they have boots on the ground, right? So I think it's just kind of a
I think thing. a lot of countries right now are just kind of putting the brakes on, putting the hands up, say we're just going to wait and see, because there is a lot to wait and see. Like, what is Russia going to do?
Timing is suspicious, so.
Yeah, and if it goes for complete shit over there, are other countries going to get involved and try to help the Ukraine?
Yeah.
And if they do, is China going to get involved to help Russia? And if it does, then countries like the U.S. and that, they're going to have to speak up. They're going to have to say what's on their mind, right?
Right. Well, at least what.
So we'll wait and see.
Globally, the financial shutdown of Russia will have an impact, right? That'll have a
it's funny you say that, because I went to the liquor store, and I think every province now in Canada has taken all Russian liquor off the shelves.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yep. Absolutely knew it.
I went in to buy my favorite vodka, and it was no longer there.
How about stop buying oil from them?
Yeah. That would be good.
So
maybe they should do that instead of liquor.
And they should stop buying the grains and everything that they export, cars, everything. Stop it all. Stop it all.
Nobody buys Ladas, right? So
no. Well, not so much anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
So the skunk in the room is exactly what Richard is saying, right? Is he gonna start threatening nukes? And he's had that again. Putin had that sort of, ominous undertone that we'll see retaliation in likes we've never seen before. So obviously pointing in that direction, but I think it's difficult for leaders to, when you've got someone in power that's so volatile and not even thinking rationally. I mean, sure, the guy might win this war. He didn't expect the pushback he got when he went in.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the flip side of it, when you see the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, like he represents that sort of hero, right? At this point, where it's like, you know what, we can't let him fail, right? So,
and see, that's what I like about him, because a real leader of a country, they're there to look after their own people. That's the whole thing, right? He's looking after his people.
Yeah.
Putin, what's he doing? He's not worried about Russia, which is a big enough country to sustain itself and do everything.
It's
He's out there
self-motivated.
pissing around and wanting this and wanting that, getting more of this.
Oh, he wants something. They probably have right now. Uranium's the big thing.
Hi,
Does
Junior.
Ukraine have a lot of uranium? I'm betting they do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's certainly not given a.
If they nuke, if they throw a nuke, then the States is going to throw a nuke back, and it's not this time. It's not going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to go to that. I really don't.
Junior's saying we don't need war at any time, and I agree.
No, we don't. We don't. But humans are fucking. We're savages, man.
Yeah.
You know what?
We are savages.
No. But see, you look at what happened. We had World War I, which was totally different than World War II. And after World War II happened, a lot of leaders, a lot of countries said, whoa, enough is enough. Like the amount of loss and the amount of resources going into building all this stuff and destroying, killing, all this nonsense, what does it really get anybody? Not much. No. It depletes your country of resources.
They richer, right? The
well,
people that,
not really.
The Bushes are in armored cars. Why wouldn't the Bushes want war?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they want to leave their vehicles for the Taliban to take, and now they have to sell new ones or make no more because you need more.
You just stumbled across something that we could have a whole fucking show on.
Yeah.
You know that?
Well, but it's true. Like follow the money.
It is. It's totally true.
The States is a young country, right?
Yes.
It is a very young country. Canada's younger, but the States is a very young country. They've been at war for 90% of their whatever their confederation or whatever the hell they call that.
Yeah. War generates money, right? So
exactly. And all the people who are making the money are the upper guys who are
you don't even as a country, you don't even have to go to war. You just have to supply somebody with stuff.
Right.
You start a war in another country.
Yeah, I mean that's what arms dealers do all the time. But like,
hey, I just saw Danny on. Hi, Danny.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, it's kind of unusual. It's unusual to see, Putin really talking down to his cabinet, right? So he had his chief spy officer, and he's calling him out in front of the cabinet, saying, look, speak clearly and this and that, and just making him feel like a child. And then all of the other ministers, doing everything from counting tiles in the floor to the ceiling. Mm-hmm. So nobody wants to be part of this in Russia.
No, but that's the way it works for leaders. They will make an example out of one person.
Right.
And everybody else in the room is going to go, oh shit, I don't want that.
But the Cold War is over, right? This is why NORAD switched to, other uses for NORAD. But these types of things these days, like there was no crime in Ukraine that justified the crime that's happening on, Russia invading. So it's not logical. Like in this day and age, if it's a squabble between whatever the matter is, it should be done, through legal channels, that sort of thing, or debates. You don't pick up guns and just start blazing, right?
Right.
So it's madness. It makes no sense. And this is the guy that's probably the most volatile and closest to being able to launch nukes, right? And if he's got a cabinet that cowers from him, the possibility, this isn't news. I mean, we're just chatting through this, but I'm pretty certain that some of the, other major powers have boots on the ground and they're just waiting for all of the right triggers.
It's a waiting game right now. Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen.
You already know the paid guys are going to be over there already.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're just waiting to get their contracts.
Yeah. But legitimately, I'm not Ukrainian. I'm not Russian. But I have friends, and I've always known Ukraine. Like, they've been through so much, right? But
yes, they have.
They've got great sponge cake. But
And good people.
I grew up with Ukrainian families, right?
Yeah, good people.
Awesome. Give you the shirt off the back. Hard workers. It's like was said earlier today. They're always welcome in Canada. But yeah, this is absolute madness. I don't understand. It doesn't, like, if it's a bully taking on a very small country, and I think, and I'm being very, very honest about this. Had I not flipped and broke my arm or shoulder, pretty much shattered it, I'd be on a plane. And I might take a bullet for those people, but it's rare that you see, the little guys stand up to such a dominating bully, right?
But you hit something there, buddy. I find this as Canadians. We will stand up against a lot of things for friends, fellow Canadians, people in need, whatever. We have a good backbone, and there's great examples like when 9/11 happened, what the Newfoundlanders did. They brought all those planes down, looked after all those people. It's funny, Canada's not big in arms. We're not big in anything, but we are always there for support. We're always there when people need somebody. We're always there to help. And that's what I like about Canadians. They'll actually stand up and fight for somebody else. That's pretty cool, buddy. I like that.
Well, I think, my contribution, Richard saying that Ukraine has lifted visa requirements for anyone who wants to come out and support. I truthfully...
Wow. You want to know something? Junior's got me thinking here. And I'm kind of with Junior. You want to know something? If and this is like on a whole, and maybe I'm fucking living the John Lennon dream or something. But if you and whoever is in the army put down your fucking guns and didn't go fight because that fucking guy over there wants oil, that guy over there wants to take that fucking land, that guy over there, and everybody just literally put down your guns and stop driving your tanks and stop fucking... They couldn't have a war without the fucking little people, right?
Yep.
They promise you fucking college. They teach you how to kill, and then you come home and you're fucked. And Canada's the worst for it, right?
Well, and this is
you messed up. I got a friend who lives right down the road. If my dog barks at the wrong time, he has to talk himself down, right? Can he get help from the Canadian government? No. He pays for pills. He does. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if you guys remember this. It's quite a ways back now. But when I was in college, I had a professor who taught electronics, and I don't remember the year I graduated, but it was probably about 7 or 8 years after I graduated. I read this article about a pilot who was flying his Cessna around the CN Tower, and he was threatening to crash it into the building unless he got some help. Do you guys remember that at all?
Yeah, I think George was the DJ at the CN Tower at the
time. Probably at the time.
Refused to play the guy's song.
That's right. Yeah.
But he was in Vietnam. Yeah. He fought for our country, and he was opened up on by snipers. He got shot 7 times. He lived, and he had a lot of problems after that. And he was looking just for medical help from our government, and they wouldn't give it to him. And he went to that extent to threaten crashing and killing himself into the CN Tower. And all he wanted was medical help. And our government would not give it to him. And I was like, oh my God.
That's the people that they put their life on the line for.
Yes.
It's not
those people
as much as it is for us, it's not for us. Right?
No.
Unless somebody is coming here and invading like they are in Ukraine, we are not in that much danger.
No. But so this guy to leave his wife, to leave his kids, to leave everything, and go to another country and fight for us, and go through all that, and then come back and not have our government support him.
Yep.
That just blows me away. I don't get it. Right?
Yeah, I mean, this is very unusual because it reminds me of a mix of almost a civil war, right? Because
George, George, can you help me?
I can always help you.
I need a hand, please.
Okay.
I'm getting desperate.
The soundtrack to your Monday night.
Come on, fans.
Well, that's just jump in there, Bringo. Sorry to interrupt, but I wondered that because, like, my dad was a paratrooper in the war and all that, right? And I mean, those guys, from what I could gather, because they tended not to talk about it. I could ask questions of my dad about stuff, and there's certain things he would talk about, but they're always the same old stories, you know. And I'd ask them, and they just go off and tell the same story. I go, well, that's not what I'm asking, you know what I mean? And but I thought those guys came home from World War II. They got demob suits, right, like civilian suits, and they were sent home just like that. I thought, like, how many guys were suffering then? You know what I mean?
George, those men and women that fought for their countries and what they went through, it's all up here, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to remember that because a lot of them saw horrible, horrible things or had to do horrible things. And they want to erase that. So, like you said, they wouldn't talk about it. And
his friends
for good reason.
Yeah, and people I knew, like, you know, not my dad's friends, but similar, like from, you know, who'd been in the war, like my friends' dads, same thing. You know, they go, you don't really talk about because you go, come on, that must have been great killing Germans. You know what I mean? It's like nothing like that. You know, it's like
German. That's an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we're like 10 years old and whatever.
No,
you know what I mean?
I get that because I was the same way. My grandfather's he's an ace, or was a flying ace, right, in World War II. My other grandfather, he was on the home front because he was 30-something, 32 or 33, and he had kids, so he was home front. But like, just as you were saying, you didn't hear, you heard the stories about, we went down and Barney drank 18 pints in 10 minutes. And, and then you want to hear so they don't tell those stories.
Because those stories are hard to tell. That's shit they don't want to remember.
You know, what was it like the first person you killed? You know what I mean? That's something that's gonna stick with you forever. And you're gonna remember every detail of that, every breath, every wink, every whatever.
You know, it's probably terrifying, and like, as you guys know, I participate in these military op games, Milsim, and the realism is pretty incredible. But I can only imagine if, let's say, I was shot in the shoulder, you know, I broke my shoulder, the pain that I have, imagine a bullet going through and shattering it. You know, so you're right, like the trauma that people have to endure, they're not, you know, maybe now they get trained on it to some degree, but I have a really close friend who did went to Afghanistan, and it was the weirdest thing because he was in the middle of a firefight with, I guess, Taliban's, and I get a phone call on my phone, and it was him, and he just basically said, I'm in the middle of a firefight, and he had injured himself, like his arm, shoulder actually. And anyway, so here I'm getting this text, and he's basically, tell my kids I love them kind of thing. And it's like, oh my God. It put me in a weird spot. But my message back to him was, man, don't think twice, just pull the trigger. Right. And I felt bad about that, because that's obviously taking someone's life. But, when it's your life or his, or that person, and these are acts of violence and crime. And, the same terrorist group actually
trained by the Americans
loaded explosives into a market outside the compound. And, these little kids that would come and, visit the military, and get candy from them, ended up getting killed in this bombing. So it was all over the news. So I was like, wow, I have an inside sort of track on that, and it must be terrifying, right?
And see, us as humans, I think we learned a lot from that, because World War II was huge. It was devastating.
We didn't learn shit.
But the thing is, it's been like 80 years, right?
Yeah.
Since that kind of shit's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had the technology, we've had the testing, we've had all this nonsense going on, but all the countries are going, well, they can't really go full out bore and start a war, because it's going to be bad.
Yeah, but what if we just lived through the last war, and it's a different war? It's not a gun war.
No,
it's biochem.
And exactly, and that's what I said. World War III is not going to be with guns and bullets and all that shit. It's going to be with chemicals or microorganisms, that kind of stuff. And it's funny.
Think about how long they've been having drones, and we've only started hearing about them in the last 10, 15 years. Right?
Yeah, well,
obviously, they're what? The military is going to be 20 years ahead of us for technology like that.
You take all that shit into consideration. I look at this COVID-19 thing as a test. They're playing with their shit, right? They're perfecting their stuff. They're, all this stuff is going on out there, right? Think about it, right? Technology and AI. AI is huge right now. It's through the roof. They've been developing all this crazy tech. But do you hear about it? You see anything about it? No. It's all quiet. If you really go and research and look at stuff, there's a few companies.
Did you see what AJ just brought up there? I'm sorry.
No, it disappeared. I was trying to maybe somebody read it, because the one before that.
Go ahead, Ringo.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Okay, the Ukrainian people are wonderful, but understand the Ukrainian government has been shelling the two provinces Putin is there to liberate. Look it up. Truth. The Ukraine is probably one of the most corrupt governments on the earth. Then again, they have certainly taken care of Joe and Hunter, huh? Millions. Okay. Biden.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, again, back to the point that we were talking about earlier. Every government is corrupt. It doesn't matter what government it is.
Of course they are
all corrupt. Every one of them. If you show me a government that isn't corrupt, then you're part of it and you're corrupt too. Every government is corrupt. I wish people would understand that. They all are. They just want to take your money and line their pockets with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what justifies
AJ just wrote. He goes, "Yep, and the American government are warmongers, and 100%. He is an American." So,
well, it's true though. But as we were saying earlier, again, the States is a young country, and they've been at war for over 90% of their, and 10 major wars.
Yeah, and you'll see they have all this new tech. They want to try it out. They need an excuse to go and try it out, right?
Well, it's not even that. It's go over there, and now, we blew it up. They got it blown up. Now it's blown up. We need a new one. Oh, okay. Let's arm the Taliban again. here, you guys, let's train you with all these guns and all these rocket launchers and stuff. And now the Taliban's good. We're going to leave. And then, the Taliban's bad. So let's go blow that shit up again. And now you got to buy more.
Yeah.
So
well, that just happened when the U.S. left the eastern countries over there. They left everything behind.
Yep.
You remember that? They left their guns, they left all their tech, their vehicles, everything.
Yeah, all the Hummers, all that.
Who has it all now?
So
the people they were fighting against.
I think the point though about Ukraine and where it's been and where it is today are two different things, right? It's been able to evolve and embrace freedom and all of that. And so there, I mean, AJ's points are, every government has some amount of corruption, and there were a lot of things, a lot of negative things coming out of the Ukraine for a while, but it just doesn't justify, almost like
the Canadian government is corrupt too, because Girl Guide cookies are $4 a box now. That's bullshit.
Exactly.
Now, which kind of Girl Guide cookies do you like? Do you like the mint ones, or do you like the maple?
I like the mint ones.
I like the mint too, but you want to know something? I like a good maple cookie too.
Yeah, it's really
you dunk it in your tea really quick, just real quick, because they get soft real quick and they'll fall right. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
So juniors, bring back the Canadian-Russia hockey night. And that's what they should have done, settled it up on the
Hey,
ice.
you guys want to talk about something? Let's talk about drinking and driving. Did you guys used to drink and drive?
Oh my God, yes. And it's funny if AJ's still on, he was there with me back in the day when drinking driving was not cool, but okay. You know what I mean?
They turn a blind eye. And
okay,
wait. Just before we get on to this, I want to say that this is just real life experiences. This has nothing to do with the show. This is just shit that we lived through.
We don't promote it. It's just stuff we've done in the past.
Yes.
And
I don't even drink anymore. So
AJ is going to remember this like holy shit. This is for you, buddy.
Hang on,
we were at what?
Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show. And welcome once again to the Heikadelic Show.
There we go. Just to be.
Thank you very much. That's perfect. That's perfect.
All right, let's hear AJ story.
So, AJ and I were at a party at Pino's place, our good old buddy, and we were drinking. Back in the day, we used to play caps. You guys ever play caps?
Yeah.
Snap. Right? You bring a 2-4.
Yeah.
That's your chair. You put your bottle down with the cap on it, and you're shooting caps, and you go through your 2-4 and you drink away, right? Well, we got so hammered, and then it was time for a lot of people to go home. So it was weird because I was one of the guys that had a car. I was pretty good when I drove. I should have, to today's standards, I should not have been driving. But a lot of people, the girls had to go home, and it was like going across. I lived in Ajax, so you had to go all the way across town. So we would take all the girls home. So we would jam like 8 people in my car, and AJ would go, "Can I come for the ride?" I said, "Sure, buddy." So he sat with me, and we jammed the whole car full of people. And we drove everybody home, right?
Yeah.
And you got pulled over. The cop would say, "You been drinking?" I go, "Yeah, but I'm the soberest of all my friends, and I'm taking them all home." So there was a few. No, I'm serious, and it would just depend on the cop you got. Some would say, I had a cop say, "Everybody out of the car, you go home. You guys find your own way home." I had a cop actually follow us around to make sure I wasn't driving stupid, and he followed me all the way to drop everybody off, and then I parked the car and I waved him off, and he drove away. It was like, holy shit. That's how it was back in the day.
It was.
But
I just want to give a shout out to Jason at Launchpad Podcast. Check him out. Hey, Jason. He was just a guest last
Hi,
week.
Jason.
So we dropped all these people off all over town that night, and AJ and I drove back to Pino's place. I pulled in the driveway, I opened the door, and I fell out of the car. I drove. Yeah. AJ always looked at me and goes, "How can you drive, man? You drive like you're straight." I just could. Okay, I wasn't, but
you got lucky, is what it is.
Yeah, and I'd get there and I'd fall out of the car, and they'd have to bring me back in so I could drink more beer.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, the good old days.
I remember I got into a fight with my girlfriend, so I called my buddies up, and I'm like, guys, and they were my drinking buddies, right? You know, I got a case of beer, they'll be over, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, come pick me up. I got a case of beer. So literally put the case of beer beside us. My two buddies already got Travelers, right? And I'm in the back seat, and my buddy at the time was Moore. It was Moore. If you were watching, Steve, you know, I'm ratting you out now. He used to have beer cans, like just all in his car, right? Like just throw him in the back seat. So we got a full case of beer cans all over the floor, and we get pulled over. They got Travelers. I don't know if you guys used to do that trick, but put the beer in your sleeve, right? So it's just sitting there.
Yep.
Not that I recommend that to anybody, but so do that. The cops are like, "You guys drinking?" No. They're like, "You got a case of beer right there. Open it up. There's only one out of it." He's like, "Okay." I said, "Yeah, it was mine. Got into a fight with my girlfriend, called him up." Right? Because, well, what about all you got to have like 20 beer cans back here? You guys definitely are drinking and driving, right? Drivers, Jody's is like, no. We
those are from yesterday.
No, he goes, if you look, or he goes, those are cans, not bottles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve's like, Steve was driving, Jody's a passenger. So cop goes to Steve, he goes, if you can put the case of beer in the back and you're fine, we'll let you go. So Steve walks out, grabs the case of beer, and he goes, I put my hip on the side of the car and just walk straight down the side of the car. Put it in the back. He's got like 4 cases in the trunk. They're empties, right?
Yeah,
the cops like, you can return them.
Yeah.
That was just one of those nights, and stupid. You know what I mean? Just stupid kids. But it used to be acceptable as long as you weren't fall out of the car drunk, right? The cops would let you go. Like, oh, you've had a couple. Okay, we understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah, but today there's
what it was is the police back then were concerned for you and your passengers, and they just wanted to make sure you got home safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Today, it wasn't this big puffy chested thing like they do now, you know, I'm gonna get a drunk driver and I'm gonna arrest them. It wasn't like that.
If you say that you drank at all, or you tested, they have an obligation, a legal obligation now that if they were to let you go, not send you home in a cab or charge you or whatever, if they let you go and you hit somebody down the road and they've reported pulling you over and didn't do anything about it, then there's liability there, right?
Yeah, so, and that's because of lawyers.
The thing that's changed with cops too now is that they gotta call in every time they stop, right?
You know what I love watching is these little TikTok videos or whatever on Facebook where everybody now, pushes the bar. They'll bring a camera. They'll wait till, they get pulled over. They'll be holding the camera.
I can do whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah.
The freedom of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was watching this one the other day where this kid's father, what had happened, the kid was out riding a motorized bicycle and somebody had complained about it. So the cops came over and the father somehow got a little bit nervous. And the kid was saying, well, you can't do anything. It's under 50 cc's. But yeah, one of the tough guy cops got really offended with that and didn't want to be told what to do by a kid. And it was pretty interesting how that kid knew, like, it was almost like it was set up, right?
Yeah.
Because he knew all of the rules. And I'm thinking, wow, you've done your research.
But is that also doing his research? So in case if he does, because I know that rule too. Like around my cottage and stuff, you're allowed to ride anything 50cc or under on the road as long as you got reflectors.
Right. But it got blown out of proportion, and everybody's got cameras, and I'm thinking, man, these, and you could tell how tense the cops were getting.
I'd hate to be a cop, like even like right now, it would be worse. You know what I mean? Like just how much people do that. Like everything you do is being scrutinized. Right. Like you're like, oh my God, I'm here trying to do a homicide here, and you're got a camera in my face asking that guy there if are your rights being offended right now?
Yeah. So Keisha's basically, oh hey Murph, Keisha's saying that she's actually learning something with these stories.
What's this with Keisha? You got to get a real hat.
Yeah. Well,
it's true because there was a different mentality back then. And again, I just tried to say this. The police would make sure you were okay, your passengers were okay, and they wanted everyone to get home safe. It wasn't the need to charge people and try and make the city money, for fines and all this nonsense. It was just looking after their people, looking after everybody. It was totally, totally different.
Well, I got to think too, though, Heiko. Like, look, I grew up in Uxbridge. When I moved to Uxbridge, it was 16,000 people. Right now, it's 65,000.
Yeah.
Right. So, I know like the huge growth. You can't let as much slide, right? Because now it's bigger. It's everything's bigger. The fights are bigger. The cars are bigger. The speeds are faster, right?
Yep.
So, and the number of people. And, this area kind of always had its reputation of, the country boys out back roading it. And...
Well, and I see your point, but I would say your city has grown 4 times the size. The police department will also grow 4 times the size. It could be the same way, but society has changed.
Yep.
The rules are different. It's governed differently. And this is what we're told now that, people that drink and drive, the worst thing you could do, right? Bum, 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 bum. And they deal with it a different way that they used to deal with it 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Crazy.
And isn't it funny? The next thing to take over drinking and driving doesn't impair you.
Yeah.
Right? The cell phone.
Yeah.
More accidents and deaths caused by cell phones than drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Well,
and I get pissed off about that too, because we will get charged if we're using a cell phone in our car.
Yep.
What does every police car have in it? A fucking computer screen and a keyboard, and they're sitting there typing shit in on a keyboard while they're driving their fucking car. That's okay? Well, fuck off, right?
The cops are. I'm playing devil's advocate here. The cops are also trained differently in driving than you are and I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but everybody doesn't drive the same.
And you're right. And you're absolutely right. There are shitty cop drivers out there too. I used to paint roads, and I almost got hit by 5 cops my first summer doing it.
Well, that's a good point, because they do get in accidents or cause accidents sometimes. But I've seen, I respect police officers in general, but I have seen ones that will run a red light and then you'll see them pull into a Tim Hortons, right?
Yeah.
Or throw their cherries on to beat out cars to get into Tim Hortons. So, I mean, that's just wrong. So you don't, again, it's sort of like, that Dorman thing we were talking about earlier, where you get this little inch of power. Now, police officers have a lot of authority, but it's interesting with the cameras these days, how they need to really think before they act, right?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not.
It's funny. It's very interesting, because the technology we have now in cars is very, very cool, right? All the different things a car will do today.
Yep.
Right? automatic braking, lane censoring, blah, 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 all the shit they can do.
Yeah.
Why can we still use our cell phone in a car?
Well,
Right?
you've got full internet services in cars.
Because
my car is full internet. Right?
Yeah,
I
know.
My car's Wi-Fi. My kid, his laptop.
But if this was such a bad, horrible, terrible thing for us to use our cell phones in a car, don't you think they would have technology right now that you cannot use your cell phone in a car unless you go through the system in the car to make it hands-free? No, they have not done that because they still want to charge people. They want to make their money. The technology is there to get rid of all these problems, but it's not happening.
No, but there's with a lot of technology like Waze, which is a driving like a GPS. If it senses that you're moving, it'll ask you to stop. Or it'll give you the choice of, are you driving or not? No, I'm not driving, but you're really driving. But to your point, I think
that's the technology in the car.
Yep.
You can't use the GPS in the car unless you're parked. But take it one step further.
Yeah.
So you can't talk on your phone while you're in the car. You have to go through the car system.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Because, I mean, it doesn't matter how safe you think you are. It's a split second. It's that split second when your phone rings and you look down at your phone instead of the sheet of ice in front of you and the car in front of you. So the other thing too, and this is ridiculous, is at intersections, and I cringe around, times when schools kind of let out and stuff. A friend of mine a few years back, he amazing guitar player, but his son, from what I understand, was looking down at his phone and was hit and killed. So, and I wonder sometimes with generation today, and some kids will acknowledge, very rare though, they'll acknowledge and kind of give you the right of way if you have it, but others will just walk out and, not even look,
walking across the road. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. No, I've seen that. They just walk and head down.
And who's going to
I think I've mentioned this before on the show. In Germany, in a lot of the bigger cities, they actually have traffic lights in the sidewalk for pedestrians that are looking down at their phones. They have a whole band of red lights and green lights that light up so you don't cross the street, because a lot of people have been killed in that country looking at their phones, and they walk out in front of a streetcar. Boom, dead. So now they have lights in the sidewalk. It's like,
see, the same thing was said about the Walkman when it first came out too, right?
Yep.
People are getting killed because they're walking. People are some humans just like are dumb.
Yeah.
They do stupid things.
Oh, and I talk about stupid people.
When there's big vehicles that weigh tons.
Yep.
And they can kill you and squish you, and you're walking in front of them or around them, maybe you should pay attention.
Yeah.
Have I walked down a sidewalk and looked at my phone? Hell yes. Have I walked across an intersection? I doubt it.
But see,
I might have,
they have warning messages on plastic bags that your product is in, and it says, "This is not a toy. Do not let children play with this bag."
Do you know why?
And I'm going, you know what? You know what I say?
Take all the warnings off. Right?
Take all the warning labels off every single product on the planet and let Mother Nature look after the stupid people.
Well, some days I'm going to tell you though, Heiko, I think stupid people should be shot. Other days I'd be dodging bullets. So
yeah. Well, you know what I mean? We're overpopulated already. They created COVID-19, all that shit. Let Mother Nature look after some of the dumb ones, right? Holy crap.
The problem with doing that is that, again, back to beating on the generations of today, I find that a lot of, teenagers and older into 25 or even 30 now, tend to take things a little bit too literal, because they haven't got the life experience behind to make a judgment, right? So if you say, hey, I need you to put out the garbage, okay, well, what does that mean? Put it out where exactly? So if you don't lay it out crystal clear, and I think this is becoming, because we're inundated with data, right? To the point where, okay, so I'm going to use some common sense. I'm going to take the garbage outside, not leave it in the garage. I'll actually take it out and put it where it needs
but
to
you
be,
see,
right?
I know exactly what you're saying, but here's where the stupidity factor comes in.
Yeah.
If you tell someone to take the garbage out, you got to use your brain a little bit and go, okay, I'm taking the garbage outside so the garbage man can take it away.
Yeah.
And where does the garbage truck come? At the end of the driveway.
Exactly.
So that's where you put the garbage. If you haven't got that figured out, you shouldn't be in today's society, because that's how it fucking works.
Yeah, it's just a simple example, but you got to be literal in it. Again, it's this common sense thing, right? I always say, hey,
or is that just us being grumpy old men?
Yeah,
yeah. There we go.
Maybe
What's
it's
with
our
these
fault
old guys?
Maybe it's our fault that we didn't teach them better.
No, but I know, Derek, you're kind of an outdoorsy guy, and Heiko and I are, and we could be dropped in the middle of nowhere.
You're right.
Afraid. We're going to thrive, right?
Yep. Oh no!
I'm
naked and afraid. I'm screwed.
Really?
I've got enough. Like I could get by until I learn how to break into a window to get into that cabin to start a fire to stay warm. I have enough smarts to figure out how to live. But if it's like naked and afraid, I could build a shelter. Not a good one. I could fish. I'm not that good at cleaning them. Hunting. I don't mind dead things, but I don't know how to do it with a slingshot.
Well, we all know who Survivor Man is, right? Les Stroud, and there's Bear Grylls and all those people. But there was a point in time a few years back where I had spent an unusual amount of time in hospitals down in Toronto. And we're talking weeks. And because of some of the things behind all of that logistics, it didn't make sense for me to even stay in a hotel. So I parked my truck in the underground parking, and it was about 2 degrees. It got pretty cold, right? So then the other challenge I had was, okay, I need to take a shower at some point so I can go rent a hotel or go to a place to do that. But then it was this whole survival mode that I kind of fleshed out in the hospital. You can become very friendly with the maintenance staff, and they've got all of these supplies like soaps and stuff, to the point where it's, hey, use our maintenance shower. And I managed, like, it was amazing to me because I'm resourceful that way, and I'll go and do what I need to do. And just ask for help with certain things, right? Or and people will open up. But then I looked at other people that were there and families and stuff like that. Just the life sucked right out of them, right? And when you're going through things like that, I mean, there's a lot of issues. Like, you got to keep your energy level up, so you got to be able, and you got to be able to have a decent sleep once in a while. So my point is that it's almost like an urban survival type of mode that you go into, and I just feel with kids today, whether it's urban or in the outdoors presents its own challenges, but the basics, water, food, shelter, they're not even thought of, right? It's like, oh, wait a minute, I got to Uber out of this situation. Well, you might not be able to at some point, but
yeah. And you know what, do you have a picture of your new vehicle?
No, I'm not going to.
Okay. I freaking love it.
What new vehicle?
He bought himself a new vehicle. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, Heiko, it's 11 o'clock, and I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get home until 2 o'clock last night.
Yeah, you were at your awards night.
I know, you were just a madman for punishment.
Oh, it was supposed to be done by 1, but it was supposed to be done by 12, and we didn't finish till 1, and then I had to drive home from Etobicoke.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I understand. It was tough for you. You're tired.
I'm fucking
And
tired,
now
Derek.
you're tired and you want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm grumpy.
You kids today, I don't know.
I know, eh?
These kids, no stamina, you know.
You're the youngest guy on the screen, and you're tired and want to go to bed. What the hell?
I was still up on time and at work on time.
Yeah. You're going to be in bed sleeping, and George and I are still going to be here talking.
Yeah.
George is going to be up until, I think he goes to bed at like 6 in the morning. What time do you go to bed, George? I know you're up all night. What time do you go to bed?
Well, I'm tired.
Yeah, there you go.
Count
Yeah,
George.
it just depends what I have to do, if you know, and if
George
I'm tired.
George and I were chatting on the phone one night for probably 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I think it was 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I guess I fell asleep. I was
You
lying
did.
in bed, and then George, you know, George is pretty good at telling stories in terms of detail and everything, and he got right into it. So I kind of woke up.
I'm a bore.
I realized, wow, you know, and George is still on, and I go, yep, and he kept going, and
Jesus.
I fell asleep, and then eventually I woke up, and I'm like, oh shoot, George must have realized.
It took me a while to realize that you'd gone, but I knew you were still there.
My mother was in the next room, and she actually listened in on most of it, so she was quite.
Well, actually, I have to say, today I didn't get up till 1:20 in the afternoon today.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I woke up around, I think I looked, it was like 10:45. I thought, I'll just get up in about 20 minutes. Next thing is like, I drifted off again. Yeah, 20
At
after
1:30?
1:17 to be precise, actually. I thought, holy shit.
Holy crap.
1:17, I was, from 1 o'clock to 1:30, I was yelling at salesmen.
Yeah. Well,
God damn, fuck, you don't put me anything in for fucking a whole month, and now you send me 3 times as much as everybody else.
Nice.
I was reading my book till about 4:30 in the morning for that, you know, and I remember that. Okay, I thought it's late now. I'll, put the light out.
Jeez. Well, we are up every
I'm
morning.
well rested. It's not like a log.
Yeah, during the week or weekends, doesn't matter. Even if I stay up all night and talk to you guys, we got to be up early in the morning, 6:30, to put the horses out.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
it's the way it is, right?
It is.
I don't have horses, so I'm all right.
So on that note,
Well, you're lucky.
I gotta get some painkillers.
I don't have any pets, nothing.
Oh, good for
All right,
you.
Heiko, why don't you take us out there, Hike?
All right.
Take us home, Mike. Take us home.
That was awesome, guys. So I want to thank our guests tonight, which is Ringo, Derek, and George. Freaking awesome. And I want to thank our guests that were at home, which is Gary, Keisha, Sandra, Kathy, Richard, Sebastian, Junior, Danny, AJ, and Murph. You guys rock as well.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
we
guys.
want you guys back here next Monday night at 9:30 right here on the Heikadelic Show.
Heiko, did I mention something?
Yes, go for it.
No, did I? Or should I?
No.
Tomorrow
Do
night,
it.
7:30
Yes.
p.m. Drop in and tune out the Atomic Ballroom. Switch to Twitch. I'll see you then.
You guys do that. All you listeners, tune in George's show tomorrow night, and we'll see you all back here next Monday night at 9:30 on the Heikadelic Show. Have a great week, everybody.
Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.